Hi, I'm Charlie Angus, and I'm wishing a happy 4th of July to all the American resistors and the Americans fighting for democracy south of the border. I got to admit, this is the very first 4th of July message I have ever made, and it's certainly not going out to the haters and those who would wave the flag as proof that they're somehow better than their neighbors. This is a shout out to the people who are on the front lines right now, to our American friends south of the border, to Americans living in Canada, to Americans living all over the world. We are in very dark times, and it's going to stay dark until we can start making it get lighter. You know, when I started the resistance here in Canada, it was just a mad scramble. We didn't know what the heck was happening with Trump's threats and attacks on our country. I was focusing on trying to just rally Canadians, bring us together, make us stand up and give us the backbone so that we could resist this kind of gangster politics. And then a strange thing happened. I began to get messages from across the United States. I wasn't expecting that. And initially, the Americans that reached out to me were as shocked and bewildered and confused by what was happening as we were. And then something also amazing happened. I began to see a growing sense of determination to fight back, to resist. Right now, we've built friendships and alliances all over the world. In every state of the American Union, people are following the work I'm doing. My work with Midas Touch has been a real opportunity for us to build this movement in Australia, New Zealand, England, Ireland, Europe. People are recognizing the need for ordinary people to stand up because our leaders aren't coming to save us. It falls to each of us. You know, and I look at this 4th of July when we have the President of the United States gleefully talking about migrants being chased by alligators if they try and escape from the concentration camp that he's built, the alligator Alcatraz. We see that when sadism becomes part of official state policy, much worse excesses and crimes become very possible. It's this spectacle of cruelty which has always been a main feature of MAGA and Donald Trump. It makes you think more of Caligula or Commodus or Nero in the kind of depravity, the fact that they're wearing Alcatraz swag to brag about the abuse of people. I really think a lot about Antonio Gramsci's statement, "The old world is dying, a new world is struggling to be born, but now we are in the time of the monsters." And we are certainly in the time of the monsters right now. What makes Gramsci's statement so powerful is that he wrote it in a hidden prison notebook when he was being held by the fascists. And he called this statement the interregnum. Interregnum is an old Roman term from the imperial days. It meant that the period between the death of one Caesar and when the next gangster Caesar took power, in that period, the in-between, the rule of law was suspended and all things became possible. And so when we see modern Caligula laughing about the alligators chasing people who've been picked up and kidnapped off the streets, we realize we are very much in an in-between time. Where it goes, we don't really know, except if we don't do something, we know exactly that it will go towards very, very dark times. But we know that in the in-between time is our opportunity to resist, to build alliances, to push back against the darkness and the hate. We have shared values across this border. We have shared values of our cultural histories, our belief in democracy, our belief in the rule of law. That's the lineage that we come from on both sides of the border. That's what we need to defend. Now, you might be wondering why I'm wearing my country shirt today on July 4th. It's because I want to give another connection that binds us, a cultural connection. They call this musical form Americana. It's not country. It's not quite rock and roll. It's roots. It's resistance. It's music that comes from the people. And what I really like about the term is that the term was coined to try and explain the music that was created by 4 Canadian guys. One of them was Indigenous from the Six Nation Reserve, and a guy from Arkansas who went up to this house in upstate New York, the Big Pink, and created a sound that changed everything. Yes, I'm talking about the band, but the music form that came out of that Americana speaks to the kind of world that we can live in, where the best of the Canadian identity, the best of the American identity come together in a shared values, not one over the other, but shared. My band, the Grievous Angels, have toured many years. We've been called Americana. We're named after one of the great outlaw American singers, Graham Parsons, who said he wanted to create cosmic American cowboy music. I love that term, cosmic Americana. And they often said my band was a little more Canadiana because we brought in the francophone fiddles and the maritime accordions, and our sound was honed in the northern country bars. And I say that because what makes the continent so unique is that we are this great mix, multiracial, multicultural, cultural influences that bubble up in the oddest places. We can't let that get wrecked by MAGA incels and white supremacists and false Christians. We need to protect that diversity. That's our job right now, my friends, to protect the best of what we have and not let ourselves sink down to the worst. So on this 4th of July, I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of where we need to go. It falls to us to be the front line in the defense of democracy, the rule of law, and decency. And along the way, let's celebrate our shared wonderful culture. From this side of the border, thank you, my friend.
They call it revolution now, but I'm losing. If there was a revolution, no one came. They sent you down the canyon, they didn't get a payment. If there was a revolution, no one came. Will I see you there? 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 Thank you, dancers. No need to be shy. This is a community event. Come on up and make yourselves at home.